2015 Plainfield Township Park District Park Board of Commissioners special meeting public hearing is called to order at 6:03 p.m. Roll call.
Ayers. Hurtado.
Here.
Casbar. Here. Ludeman.
Here.
Newton.
Here.
Poling. Here. Steins.
Here.
Okay, this is the public hearing for the combined annual budget and appropriation ordinance for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending December 31st, 2015.
Basically, this is what we've been covering, the last couple months. You have the full ordinance in your board packet at this point. At this point, we can open up for public comment.
Okay, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Hold on there. Hold on. Hurtado.
Yep.
Casbar. Here. Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Steins. Motion carries.
Okay, are there any public comments? Any public comments?
Not yet.
I was told to ask 3 times. Any public comments? I don't see anybody jumping up.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Okay. A motion was made by Commissioner Newton
I'll
and
second it.
seconded by Commissioner Poling to close the hearing. Roll call.
Hurtado.
Yep.
Casbar. Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Steins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Is there a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
Seconded.
Roll call, please.
Hurtado.
Yep.
Casbar. Yes. Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Steins.
Yes.
So now we're ready to move on to the regular meeting. The July 8th, 2015 Plainfield Township Park District Board of Commissioners meeting is called to order at 6:05 p.m. Mimi, would you like to lead us in the pledge tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hurtado.
Yeah.
Casbar. Ludeman.
Here.
Newton.
Here.
Poling.
Here.
Steins.
Still here.
Okay, we're back to public comments again, so you have another chance. If you didn't get up before.
Non-budget.
Non-budget related comment time? See no one moving, we'll move on to item 5, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I so move.
Seconded.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Poling and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Any discussion? No? Okay, roll call.
Hurtado.
Yep.
Casbar. Yes. Ludeman.
Yes,
Newton.
Yes.
Poling.
Yes.
Steins.
Yes.
Motion carries.
staff reports.
Some things I have to cover up. First of all, a big thank you for the staff, fire department, police, public works, parks staff, recreation staff, all for the patriotic picnic. We've gotten some compliments on the fireworks this year. I don't know if anyone else has gotten any feedback, but it was estimated by Chief Konopek that we had approximately between 6,000 and 7,000 people out at watching the fireworks that night. So it was a good turnout for the patriotic picnic, and we appreciate all that came out and all the staff's work. Today, we actually, in response to the tornado that went through Coal City, they put together through the SSPRP, South Suburban Parks and Recreation Professional Association, a team to go down there from the various different park districts, anyone who's willing to help, and offer some relief to the children, bringing on some recreational attributes. We sent 3 staff down to help out with that efforts. Altogether, it was about 7 park districts who went down with about 25 staff. So we were glad to be part of that and help out with that situation. We've been doing a lot of work on the Mary Park dedication, which will be this Saturday at 11 a.m. If anyone's been by the former Mayfair Park, you can see it looks like it is a completely different park at this point. We've been trying to get it all ready to go. We've been working with the Meehan family, which is his stepfather and his mom, to make sure we do it in coordination with them, so we have our program ready to go that day, and some of the aspects that they asked to have as well. The Joliet police and fire, pipe and drum to be present and raising of the color guards, because we did put a flagpole on the site and also respect to that situation. So that will be this Saturday at 11 a.m. Additionally, you have a map in front of you that kind of gives you a layout of how we're anticipating. We're anticipating approximately 150 to 200 people. It might be larger. We don't know how many people the family has reached out to. So we are kind of going to do it from the ridge right opposite of the sign and go from where the people will be facing from the playground towards the street to allow for people to move back towards that corridor. In front of you,
One second. Any guest speakers in the dignitary?
The family had asked for a couple speakers, a couple speakers to come through. Jen, I know, has been working with some of them. I believe we have what do we have?
Either going to be Hugs or McFarland from the city of Joliet. I did get a confirmation at about 4 o'clock that the Lieutenant Governor will be there.
Nice.
She's going to be speaking. And then we're waiting to hear back from one of the colonels from this particular unit.
And we also have, I believe, one of the American Legion representatives will be
Yes,
speaking as
they'll
well.
be doing the color guard and they'll be speaking prior to doing the color guard.
We asked them what they were looking for because we wanted to kind of keep it not in respect to their request. So instead of everybody we invited having an opportunity to speak, that we asked who they'd be looking to have speak. So we sent out special speaker invitations to those individuals. In the past several weeks, we've been doing a lot of playground refibaring, putting in the safety surfacing. We've been doing approximately 1 to 2 parks a week over the last several weeks. We're at about 8 parks right now, with the plans to do between 10 to 15 more over the remainder of the season. So we're trying to get our surfacing level adequate in all our playgrounds. We're going through and hitting the ones that have greater concern or are heavier used, and then trying to top off some of the ones that are just under the standard. Our goal is to try to get all our parks up to safety surfacing standards so as we move forward. So we've been hitting that pretty aggressively.
So we're using our own gas?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we're dumping at the site if we're able to, or for some of the smaller parks, and because we use Homer Industries, has been our lowest quote for this year. So they're able to back the truck up to the site for some of the ones that are extremely deficit of the surfacing, to where we dump right in and spread there. For some of the other parks, we're dumping at the shop and then trucking over to the other sites because the levels are not as low. So,
Good.
But our goal is to try to. We started out with a lot of our main point parks, our heavy use parks, and we've been moving more into the neighborhood parks as we've moved on. And as we do that, we're also trying to make sure we aggressively attack the weed situation. There should not be growth within the play bed areas. So we've been going out and killing that, to where the only problem I have, which is my next point, is weather has not been very conducive with a lot of this. When it rains 3 or 4 days a week, because for the spray we need about a day of dry weather for it to not be washed away. So as we've been battling the weather, I will give the Parks Department a lot of credit. They've been mowing in the rain, keeping up. It has been a battle this summer because our weather has just been non-traditional at this point in the year. I think in July was the last time people were wearing coats on a regular basis on top of that. So it's been wet quite a bit. And then in the final, I sent this out in the weekly update, but I wanted to put it in front of everybody as well. When we worked with Design Perspectives to try to adopt or try to redevelop our mission, our vision, and our core values. This was kind of from a staff perspective what we came up with. Wanted to look at the board if they had any recommendations or suggestions with this. We can reopen it in new business if you like, or the other option we can do is, what we'd like to do is put this in front of the board in August for approval of these 3 areas as we're working through the master plan. So when we get to the master plan, we're not approving this separately, this is just part of the package at that point. So I guess I'm just gonna ask, we would like to retouch this app in new business. Would that be acceptable with you guys? Okay. Is there any other questions at this point? All right. Then we can move on, or to committee reports.
Committee comments, does capital and development have any? Finance and liability, personnel and policy.
We've been working on the executive director evaluation, and we revised the outstanding check policy to bring it in line with new regulations.
Our auditor's recommendations.
Recreation and marketing, any comment? I know governance and accountability has no report. So that brings us to action item A, seeking a motion to approve ordinance 2015-03, an ordinance for the combined annual budget and appropriation of the Plainfield Township Park District, Will and Kendall Counties, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending December 31st, 2015.
Make the motion?
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Steinitz and seconded by Commissioner Poling. Is there any discussion?
Basically, I'm not gonna, we've gone through this the last couple of months and we did it in sections, so I've done it a little differently than I don't know how you've done it in the past, but I tried to cover it so we're not just trying to dive right into it all tonight. So I think we've pretty much gone through a lot of it. You guys have had the two major funds for about 2 months now at this point. And then we went through the other ancillary funds last month. And we've already approved the capital expenditure. We approved the capital projects last month, which tie into the capital fund. So unless there's any other questions at this point.
I just wanted to say I really like this sort of state of the parks address that was in front of the budget. I thought that was really helpful to have some things written out, not just in numbers, but in verbalizing it, and that it reinforced things that we talked about a lot. I could not remember talking about the police fund being reprogrammed. Did we talk about that? And I'm just
We've talked
forgetting.
about that at different times.
Did we?
More so, we're looking at trying to find ways to utilize the fund so that we can put it down, because we cannot just transfer it off. And we're looking to, and Maureen, you wanna help, the police
Well,
fund?
I'm not sure what reprogrammed means, I guess is more of the,
How much money is involved there? Come on, just one question.
Previously, the district had an agreement with the village of Plainfield, and we were actually levying specific taxes for the police fund. That agreement was canceled, I believe, about 2.5 years ago, and we still had funding in the police fund. So right now, that money is not being utilized for anything because it has to be utilized for the purpose in which the tax levy was made for police
right?
protection services. So at this point, I believe there's approximately $50,000 on the budget.
It's about 54.
Yeah, $50,950 as of end of May. So really, we're just bringing that to the board's attention that that money is in that fund, and the board may consider utilizing that funding for some sort of police protection services. I know Director Capaldo had talked about using it for perhaps alarm services or video camera services in certain areas of the district, so we're still evaluating that process.
Okay.
And that's,
Right,
The
if
same
the-
point you talked about.
yeah, exactly, like use it, because we don't have a police protection, we use it for background checks that is right now, or no, monitoring. Right?
For the alarm monitoring.
For the alarm monitoring. So as we go in, we know we have to do some alarm upgrade, or at least alarm upgrades, and we also look at camera surveillance in the district. So that's gonna be part of what we're gonna be looking for towards 2016, so you have an idea as we try to expend the funds in that to bring it down to zero.
Any other questions?
What about your recommendation? I just had a question about separating the, I think it was the payment fund and then
Putting them, actually, not separating them, we're not separating the paving and lighting, we're not gonna levy for them and just actually put them under the corporate fund at this point. They're such small funds to carry balance in there. We have the space in our corporate fund by our tax ceiling to just absorb them into there. We'll still keep the funds alive, but we just won't levy for them, and we'll just allocate those dollars into the corporate fund.
Roll call.
Hurtado,
Go to abstain.
Caspar,
am I approving them? Oh, yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling. Yes. Steins.
I'm sorry? Thank you.
Motion carries.
Okay, item B, seeking a motion to approve the outstanding check policy. Is there a motion? A motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by, did you second it? Okay, by Commissioner Steinitz. Any discussion on that?
Basically, this was just taking uncashed checks by the district, making sure we follow up with a 6-month notification, and then from that point, turning them or putting them consistent with uniform disposal of unclaimed property. So this was a recommendation by our auditor to adopt a policy as such, so we're just following that recommendation.
questions? Roll call.
Furtado,
Yes.
Casma,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Yes.
Poling, Steins,
Okay,
motion carries.
Okay, action item C, seeking a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Plainfield for mutual assistance. Is there a motion? Okay,
second.
okay, motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Is there any discussion?
Just an overview, I have been talking with Director of Public Works persons. We borrow equipment, our Gene at different times borrows from the village, and they had just started working on one of these with the township, and at that point, we started discussing, can we formalize a formal agreement for inter-agency cooperation, whether it be loaning of equipment, if we're helping out with manpower, or any kind of other services, that we have some more actual formality to that. So that was one of the reasons we came up with this agreement at that point.
Well, I got a question for you, in regards to manpower. How does that work between, if there's union lines involved?
Basically, it doesn't, they still fall under us, we're just assigning our guys to assist at that point. There's no union differential, as long as we're not violating the union code. So basically, for us, I can use, we don't have our contract, but it might be along the lines of, if we're down guys, we might not be able to borrow at that point. So if we were on layoff for any reason at some point, then we couldn't go and borrow other manpower until we brought our force up to full force. Otherwise, there's no violation at that point.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call.
Furtado,
Yep.
Casma,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Steins,
Yes.
motion carries.
Item D, seeking a motion to approve of Resolution 2015-08, a resolution designating the authorities for the Plainfield Township Park District with First Midwest Bank. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Yes, we got it.
All right. Motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado, seconded by Commissioner Poland. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Furtado,
Yes.
Casma,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Steins,
Yes.
motion carries.
Item E, seeking a motion to approve the updated application and agreement to participate in the Illinois Funds Money Market Fund as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Hurtado and seconded by Commissioner Steines. Any discussion? Or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Furtado,
Yep.
Casma,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Steins,
Yes.
motion carries.
Old business, committee redevelopment.
This, basically, the only thing we had talked about this, normally we would do this with the annual meeting in May. We're a little bit behind on that, just because at the May meeting, Commissioner Slawski had resigned at that point, so we had tabled reassigning the committee as vice president until we had filled the position, so at this point.
Okay, so capital and development will be Larry and Commissioner Pete Steines, Commissioner Newton. Finance and liability will be Commissioner Ayers and Commissioner Hurtado. Personnel and policy will be Commissioner Poling and Commissioner Kasmark. Recreation and marketing will be Commissioner Kasmark and Commissioner Hurtado. And then governments and accountability defaults to the board president and vice president. Does anyone have any questions?
So I'm only on one, is that? did I hear you
Personnel
right?
and policy,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Well, you could take one of mine.
No, I was just clarifying to make sure I hadn't missed something.
I know you sounded like you were volunteering for more. So is everyone okay with their appointment? Sounds like it. Okay, new business.
At this point, we have the presentation of our park inventory analysis. We have Todd Stanton from Design Perspectives and Robbie from Robbie Layton. I'm sorry?
Robbie Layton.
And I apologize, I was gonna say it wrong, so I'm glad Todd said it instead of me, to give the presentation. Robbie will be going over more the grass score as they go through this, on which our park did when they did a full analysis of our entire park system. And Todd's gonna go through some of the demographics and findings that we have.
Thank you, Carlo. So Robbie came in from I flew in from Portland today.
Portland. So he brought the cool rainy weather. We're getting kind of used to that.
Actually, it's been record heat there.
So maybe we flip flop.
Oh, yeah.
He's wearing shorts and sandals, and we're wearing jackets in June, as mentioned. So I have a very short presentation this evening, and I'm going to have Robbie do the bulk of it. He is the grass guru. This company, along with Greenplay, who Tom was here a couple of months ago, sort of invented this level of service, and we thought it was useful to bring in and use as a tool, considering the size of your district, how many parks and facilities you have, versus doing a very traditional level of service analysis. His company has developed a really unique way to do it. He was going to walk through the entire process, from understanding the process they go through, and then what does all it mean, and then some conclusions. And this will definitely be included in our report back to you as far as the master plan. So we're happy to be here this evening. And we have plenty of time this evening, so we have time to spend with you, go through any questions and comments or concerns. So when I was here in May, I believe, we talked a little about demographics and kind of an overview of our survey findings. And one of the things that you did last time with your master plan, you looked at sub-areas. And this is pretty much your planning areas defined by different types of boundaries. So we have the northwest, the northeast, the southwest, and the southeast. And this little bubble right here actually was just color-coded incorrectly. So this is actually part of the northwest. I did check with Tom, so we'll get that corrected as we move forward. But essentially you have 4 very different geographic areas within the park district. So just keep that in mind as we go through a little overview of the demographics, because each area is a little unique. And I'm sure that's not news to you, but as a master planner, we like to have a good sense of the entire district and then the different sub-areas. So this is just a summary slide, an overview of age, household size, income, and sort of percentage of the park district. So you can see across the entire district, the average age of your resident was 32.9, 33 years of age. Average household size was 3.35. So it's basically a mom and a dad, or 2 partners with 1 sibling, possibly. The median income was $96,152. So, definitely some areas of affluency within the park district. And then we looked at different 4 areas in terms of what we're looking at. So you can see across the top, the northeast, which is towards Romeoville, 32.7, 3.4, 92,000 and change. The northwest area, which kind of leads towards Naperville, we're looking at 32, so slightly younger, 3.43, but that median income is 116. That is the largest income provider in terms of your park district in terms of an area. The southeast, 34.7, slightly older, 2.99, 78,000. Those folks don't earn quite as much across the district as other areas. And the southwest, which is sort of the biggest area, has a lot of the growth potential, 30.8, 3.58, a little over 100,000. So, but it also makes up almost 36% of your district. So that is an area, as we all know, that's going to grow in the future. So that's important to understand where we are now, and we'll be going down the road. So in terms of population, this just shows you from 2000 to 10 to 15 to 20. So you can see our population is relatively stabilizing, and I shared that with you last time, but now you can see it pretty consistently, but the southwest area is the one that's forecasted to grow in the future. The rest of them usually maintain relatively stable population growth. So just summarize it, the northwest area grew rapidly. That was where a lot of the new subdivisions came in during the 2000s. So you can see that really jumped up from 6,000 and change in 2000 to 24,000 residents in 2010. The southeast area basically had the lowest annual growth. That's a really built out area of your community. But it also ranks second in terms of population behind the southwest, which is where a lot of the future growth will happen. That's sort of what it alludes to. So that will really become the most populated area within the district when you hit your growth boundary. We talked a little about age. This is important to understand for programming and just general services within the community. As you can see, we broke it down across the district, which is the light blue bar, which is the end, and then each sub-area has its own sort of population projection. So a couple of things to note, that the northwest area, and keep in mind these are the folks that have all the money, you know, they're also the 35 to 44-year-olds. They're the sort of the millennials, the people my age that have some disposable income. And those are folks that you really need to understand in terms of where they're spending their resources, because they do have money to spend on recreational services. The other ones to consider are 45, 55, 65, and you can see that the southeast area in particular, the green bar, which we knew that was one of the heavy growth areas back in the day, those folks are still staying around. So we have to understand that they have different needs than the 35 to 44-year-olds. So different areas of your population in terms of where they reside might have different needs for different services. And we might want to start customizing our message to each sub-area to really make sure we have good traction and a good marketing message out that we have a lot of things to offer, but you might be looking for something very specific towards your age, and we can meet those needs. So that's just kind of what I summarized in terms of the different breakdowns of the population. The southwest region, which is the growth corridor, really has the most diversity within terms of ages from young adults and on. And they also will be your largest residential gain in the future. Just to talk a little bit about race and ethnicity, if I can keep saying that correctly. District-wide, your Caucasian population still is the majority at 76.3%, and is the largest race category found throughout the park district. So we still need to understand not only the ages, where they live, but also, you know, what their background is. The Northeast and Southeast have the greatest Hispanic population mix at 25 and 20% respectively. And keep in mind that the way the demographics break out and the way the U.S. Census defines Latino or Hispanic, it could be a mixture of races. It's not just a single category. So the numbers are kind of deceiving. I'll have an update in terms of specific race alone standards. So some of these numbers are mixed in with Hispanic Latino origin, just so you know. The Northeast also has the highest African American percentage population at 11.6%. In terms of diversity, which is important to understand, the Southeast area really has the least diversity, and the most diversity is in the Northeast, which is a little surprising when we looked at this last month, that the eastern side of your community really has some of the biggest yin and yang or polar forces working in terms of diversity and race. Any questions regarding demographics? So on the surface, everything looks pretty uniform, but when we dig a little deeper and look at each geographic area, there are some very unique things that we need to understand when we're writing goals, objectives, programming, funding for capital, those kind of things. So looking at your district, it may not be a one-size-fits-all approach on some of the things that you may need to move forward in the future. So it's important to understand that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robbie, and I'm going to be his PowerPoint
All right,
runner.
great. Thank you all. Yeah, I really appreciate being here. Just a little background on myself. My firm Design Concepts, as Todd said, has developed this technique together with Green Clay, who's also on this team, as a way of looking at analyzing. It's really, I look at it as a dashboard. There's a lot of different information you can get on the dashboard of your car, and that's what we've kind of produced, is a series of metrics, and it's in effect a dashboard. And we've been using this for, well, going on about 15 years now, and developed it over time, and it's something kind of unique to our team that we do, our way of approaching this, because there's some traditional methods of looking at this that are frankly kind of outdated. I'm currently working on a PhD program in North Carolina to look into some of these kinds of things, at how we really measure the value of parks and recreation for a lot of different indicators. So this is cutting edge, even though we've been doing it for 15 years. So that's about what I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to give you the PhD dissertation version of this thing right now. You're going to be an expert on this by the time we're done, or asleep, one or the other.
The lights are down, so
Yeah.
you might have to stay.
Yeah, right. So you can go ahead and we'll try to make it exciting. Well, Todd did the inventory, so he really knows these places. I haven't been to all these places. Typically, I would like to do that, but in this particular case, this was the best way to do it, was to have him go out, so he's intimately familiar with what's out there. What we've done is take what he's collected and interpreted it and turned it into these analyses. So there are 89 facilities that Todd went and visited. He's cataloged them all. ranked and scored them. We have a scoring methodology that he used, and then took photographs, and, as a record proof that he was actually there. So go ahead to the next slide.
And, like I said, last time I was here, there is some diversity in your community parks, which the survey really represented in terms of use and amenities. And then your neighborhood parks, which is one of your backbones of your system, have some really good distribution, but also some amenity features that we could work on to really create a much better system. And Rob will definitely be going through